Welcome to Climb, a podcast designed for sales leaders looking to turn RevOps and RevTech into real growth drivers. Brought to you by SBI, this podcast features candid conversations between our host, Cliff Simon, and top go-to-market leaders. Each episode unpacks the strategies, challenges, and lessons that shape high-performing revenue teams, giving you actionable insights you can apply immediately to boost efficiency and scale smarter. In this episode, Cliff sits down with Laura Erdem, sales manager at Dream Data, to outline the practical strategies a tech startup should take to jumpstart their inbound marketing strategy. They walk through a process that leads to long-term success, including leveraging LinkedIn to create a brand presence, identifying and targeting ICP clients through trigger events, and working with data to form a complete story.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Climb. I'm joined by Laura Erdem, our newly transplanted New Yorker over from Denmark. She's the sales manager here at Dream Data. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, Cliff, this is so nice to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Tell me about that decision process, because I know you guys have been growing as a company, but to come over here from Denmark.
Yeah, my husband and I always said that if one of us had an option to move to the US with our company, we'd take it.
Okay.
Because why not? And the opportunity only came up right now because it's also New York. Because when I was working at Red Hat, for example, it was in Raleigh. I mean, it's in Raleigh. It's not New York. So, okay, so it was a long time cooking. When we had at Dream Data, we had a lot of sales in the US as well. So 50-50 of our revenue was coming from Europe and the US. And then we had to split the districts. So Laura took the US with the idea, okay, if I'm taking it, I'm going to work really hard in late hours. That means I'm going to move. When we have an option, when we're opening an office, I'm going to move. And my colleague Sander, he took Europe.
Okay.
So it's been a little bit more than a year, and now I'm here after working mornings and nights with the US, and now I'm just working full time. It's insane.
Working US hours full time?
Exactly.
No early mornings to catch up with the team in Copenhagen?
No, only like 8 a.m. They adapt, so they take their later evening meetings with us afternoon.
That's great.
Yeah, that's so nice.
So I imagine that's going to lead to much better work-life balance for you, your husband, your girls.
Our goal this year is focus on our kids. I am a good mom, but I was not present a lot. Especially you cook the dinner, then you leave, and then the kids eat with the husband, and then I come back, and a lot of back and forth. So this year, focused on being a very good employee for Dream Data and being a very good mom. So I'm looking forward to this so much.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like I'm on the road all the time. It's like, when do I get to see my kids?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it can be a challenge,
Exactly.
especially with the late meetings. Even on the East Coast, dealing with folks on the West Coast, and something comes up inevitably. I'm like, dinner started 45 minutes ago.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I feel you. All right, so you guys have had all this growth. You're expanding to the US more and more. When did you guys open the office here?
Half a year ago, when we hired our CRO, Nick Turner.
Okay, yeah, Nick's a good guy. So half a year ago, you've opened up the office. What does growth look like? Is it adding headcount? Is it adding additional capability through technology? Talk to me through that.
Yeah, so to start with, the reason we opened up the office was because we had a lot of growth in the US market already from Denmark, which is usually unseen. And as soon as we hit that 50% of revenue coming from the US, we had to hire somebody who knows the market. And that was Nick. He joined us, and since then, the focus is both on growth, but also on customer success. That was one of the things that we were looking into as well. Our US clients need times to meet our clients at that time when they're available, even if they're in California. So we're focusing both on hiring salespeople, but also CS.
Fantastic. How many headcount does that plan to be over the next quarter or two?
I'm not exactly sure of the numbers of how many people are we going to be, but we're going to definitely be like around 20 people. Right now we're 10.
Okay.
So by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if we're 20 or even more.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you've been successful. What's led to that? Right? I know I see you everywhere, but can you walk me through that a little bit? And
of course.
Our listeners, yeah.
It might sound like it's a lot of hard work, but I enjoy it so much. It is a lot of hard work, but the big part of that success is loving the company that I work for, loving the founders that are creating the company and the company culture to want to be there, and a lot of hard work. Energy put into being on social, selling to clients like you are, putting in those extra hours. That wouldn't come if I didn't love the company. And that can be felt throughout being at the office, handling with the colleagues, going on trips with Dream Data, representing the company. So it is very much love for the company and the flexibility that also they give for their employees.
So tactically building out the brand, tactically doing the social, can you talk us through that a bit?
Yeah, of course. So it started as an experiment. I joined Dream Data from Gartner. It's a huge brand. I had no social presence on LinkedIn. The only social presence is when you change roles or you share a magic quadrant. And then when I joined Dream Data, well, it's a startup. Nobody knows you. When I try to sell, nobody wants to buy from you because you're a startup. Who are you? We're spammed already. So we started posting on social. And after some time, we started to see traction. There were things that were happening that we could say, okay, if we did this type of post, we get more direct traffic, we get more MQLs. There are some specific measurements that we started to look into that, okay, this is working, let's do this more. So myself and our CMO, Stefan, were very active on social, including our CEO as well and CTO once in a while. And from there, when we started to see the traction, LinkedIn's partnership came in as well. And building on that, we're buying ads from LinkedIn, we having the partnership together with them, doing events together with them, and then coupled up with that personal branding that we're building with Dream Data, LinkedIn likes it because it's a very good story of both other companies looking up to, oh, look how they're doing social on LinkedIn, but also how we speak about the LinkedIn ads. So the whole product and marketing and sales motion of being on LinkedIn was a huge part of our growth.
So by you going out and building out this social presence, building out brand presence, you affected not just the ability for the company to grow from a go-to-market perspective, but also on the product side.
Absolutely. Because this is one of the things that all the companies who buy from us notice when we post. It's nice to see people's selfies or day in the life of Laura, but it is a little bit like sugar for you, a dessert. It's nice to follow, but it doesn't give a lot. You see the personalities of people, which is nice. But the product part, every time we share a customer journey or an insight or a benchmark, we get better inbounds. And not necessarily from people who like the posts, but they will reach out, they will see it, and it's a big influx of people who buy from the insights that you're sharing. And that's where the balance comes in for measurement as well. Dream Data is able to measure the impressions that our posts are doing as well from the company level, and then from the sponsored post from the personal level as well. So that tie-up of showing how our product works, how LinkedIn works through our product as well, and tying that up with sharing it on LinkedIn, it just gets into the loop of this is working and everybody wants to get this working as well. Because LinkedIn is a very expensive channel if you only compare it with Google. Very expensive clicks, we don't want to buy them because Google brings in cheaper clicks and they actually convert as well. And when you start to compare the two, if you don't know the full picture of what's happening in your go-to-market, you would just scrape that. And this was the part that is really, really working for us. If we did not focus on LinkedIn that much, Dream Data would not be at the place where we are right now.
Interesting. And we've been able to use the product, I think, for the last 18 plus months. It's always interesting to see, our main channel has always been community and doing in-person events. It's really cool to see all that tracking back into the website, tracking then through into HubSpot, everything that we have driving from an automation perspective, to be able to see how we're actually affecting pipeline generation, ultimately stuff that's going to close one. So how much of your revenue are you seeing come from things that are directly attributable back to brand and social activity on LinkedIn?
That's a very interesting question. I think that it's more than half.
Wow.
So you asked about our go-to-market.
That's a lot.
It is. Our big growth from Dream Data is attributed more or less directly to our marketing. Our go-to-market, where we're here, wouldn't be like it is without our marketing efforts. Stefan, he is a master in marketing, but he's not a typical marketer who does brand stuff and is very loud and, looks into the branding part of it. Colors are nice, it's great, we've got a good designer, but he's very much into numbers. And knowing what actually works brought us here. Marketing. It is very high quality inbounds. Our sales team was able to grow because we had too much inbound to handle for
What a
the
problem
people.
to have.
It's insane, seriously. So when thinking about the growth, it starts from the basics. If Dream Data did not start with marketing, and we're also very lucky that we have a co-founder who's a marketer, a very strong marketer, it brought us here. And now it's the next step. What are we going to do from here?
Tell me.
Of course. So sales has to come into the picture even more, because we have so much inbound that we started counting inbound as only the ones who book a demo. That's an inbound. But then we have a whole influx of signals that prospects are showing to us, either visiting our website, seeing our LinkedIn ads, comparing us on G2, coming from webinars. That's not inbound.
Right.
That's signals from warm inbound. And if our sales team is booking meetings from those, we count them as outbound. So that's where we are. So there are steps. We've got inbound, we've got that middle layer of current outbound that we're doing, and we're scaling for that because we have so much that we need some people to take over that part
that's
as
the
well.
juiciest piece too, right? Those are the people that either are in that, let's call it roughly 5% of folks that are in market today, or the people that are doing the research because they're probably going to be in market in the next quarter.
Exactly, exactly. It's the best for salespeople to be there in that position. And then there is the other part, the cold outbound. We haven't even started it. So there is so much to grasp to hire the right people for the roles as well. So if we're hiring for the senior AEs, well, if you were expecting them to do outbound, it's much easier to do quality inbound plus the ones that are coming as signals to do outbound on, because then you will quickly get them in to work on them, because that's what senior AEs like. And then we're adding SDRs to work signals, and then when we run out of those, I don't think we will soon in the near future, then we can go outbound as well, which is cold outbound.
So when you guys are looking at all those different pieces of signal data, how are you aggregating that together? Are you like giving it a score? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a scoring system which is very much ICP based. It's one of the things as well that I forgot to mention. The reason we also are so good at marketing is because our marketing is so good at defining the ICP. What's
Love
ICP,
it.
what's not. And then whatever comes through as signals, it's already ICP. And then we've got automations that assigns signals to account executives to work on. And that is the highest scoring signals are they were on our website, like pricing, product, documents, then they attended our webinars or LinkedIn Lives, especially for the topics around marketing. Personas are scored as well, if there are some specific personas that we can work with. And then finally, the LinkedIn ads impressions. This is a weaker signal because a lot of people see LinkedIn ads.
Sure.
But then the
Just
more
doom
they're
scrolling,
exposed,
right?
yeah, exactly. And some of them you just scroll, but if they clicked on the ads, then it is a higher signal as well, that they probably have been exposed to your brand. Still a little further down the signals than comparing on G2 as well, or have been on your website. So we have a scoring system, and then they're automatically assigned to the account executives to work on.
What's the conversion rate there?
I think it is, as far as I remember, it is 10 to 15%. It's pretty high, and we do get booked the meetings pretty consistently from the Signals deals as well.
And are those Signals deals by and large progressing into close one revenue?
They do, yeah.
I love it.
It's insane.
I've been going through this whole concept for the last few years. Everything we did at Carabiner was around how do you drive consumer behavior within the B2B space, right? All the signals that you've talked about, the other biggest one is like word of mouth. What are people doing? How are they going about learning about technology or services or what have you? How do you set up a machine to ingest that information and to remove friction from a buying process in order to let people have a more Amazon-esque experience, right? I want them to be able to come to my website and check out my services, not have to necessarily sit down and go through a lengthy contract negotiation or whatever else, right?
Exactly.
No, that's fantastic. I love it.
And what also works very well is that we have a trial as well. So if they came in and they don't respond to any outreach, we're selling to marketers, the hardest people after sales to sell to probably. They're spammed all the time and they make ads themselves, so they know what works on other people, what doesn't. So we also have a trial. If you are just checking out and not doing anything else, not responding to anybody, they go check Dream Data out. They start a trial and it's pretty smooth as well to get yourself checking out how does that data look on my own data. That was one of the big growth pieces as well. So when I'm saying marketing was a big growth part for Dream Data, tech team building product is probably stronger or maybe just equally as strong as marketing, because our tech team built out the product so strong that we're able to offer a trial that is actually functional. Companies who start a trial within 2 weeks, they're able to see if it working. They can see their customer journey and say, wow, I was never able to see that before. So that gives you the possibility as a salesperson to offer so many various options. Do you want to talk? We talk. Do you want to try? We do that. And there's a process for each and every piece of those.
I want to go back to something you said a few minutes ago, which was the fact that you've already identified from an ICP perspective the people that you want to focus on. I think one of the biggest issues I consistently see when I'm talking to companies, especially sub 10 million in ARR, is that they don't really make that differentiation. They don't go into the ICP and then break it down from a persona perspective. They're very hungry just for revenue. How do you guys think about ICP?
Yeah. So first of all, it is the size of the company. B2B, SaaS, tech companies between 100 to 5,000 employees. So far, just those pieces already works. Next part, they've got operations and marketing in their teams, and those are functions that have to be in the company. Sometimes marketers also buy just by themselves, but then it's really small companies. Usually once operations is involved, they try to solve the problem that we sell to. So, and also the geographies. Very important that most of the times it's just Europe or North Americas. Don't go for anything else. And technology is important too. We don't score in technology, but we check. So as soon as a salesperson comes in and tries out to see, okay, was this a right ICP? Usually it is. But let's say they don't have a CRM. We can't help you. Sorry.
Sure.
We try, but then it will be a waste of time because we've tried that out. It doesn't really work.
Okay, fair enough. You guys help out from a company data perspective. You've got plenty of entrants into the space that are showing you the individual, that persona. Where do you see those two different pieces of data coming together, or what's the pros and cons of both?
Of what type of data?
So you guys are servicing me company data, right?
Yes.
I go into Reveal, I can see who's come to my website,
Yeah.
what have you. You've got tools then like R2B2B that are showing me that individual.
Correct.
Where do you think the balance lies between that? Because in some cases I can see where being able to view the individual would be really useful, right? So
absolutely. So first of all, security is important for us. We are a European company, which means that all the European GDPR laws, we have to adhere to them. Plus, the American security laws for personal data protection are getting stronger as well. So we are standing on the level of company data. If a person does not accept cookies, we cannot track them. And then as soon as they identify themselves and have accepted the cookies, then we're able to track the whole customer journey. So I think we are the only platform who is able to offer that type of security level data, but also the granularity of company data that is tied with your CRM data in the customer journeys. So we would never be able to offer personal level data that is not compliant with a person accepting that it's okay for you to track us.
And for that, they'd have to opt in under GDPR.
Exactly. The same goes for LinkedIn ads impressions as well. So LinkedIn gives the person possibility to visit company and see the company pages and all the ads, but LinkedIn does not have that permission to share it with anybody else as a third party. So we would never receive that unless the person later goes into the website, identifies themselves, but we would still not know that it was that person who showed intent on their LinkedIn ads either.
Interesting.
It's easier when you close your eyes a little bit and say, okay, customers want to see personal data. And we get that once in a while. And say, oh, we only sell to the US companies, so we don't freaking care. But there will come a time when your clients will care about it. They'll ask for you to remove the data, and you cannot do that, and you'll be fined. So we don't want to get into that situation.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't. It would actually be the client who would do that, and that would be the worst.
So you're trying to stay above the fray.
Absolutely.
Okay. You guys had a lot of success working with larger organizations, like LinkedIn.
Good point.
And we've seen that, and I've seen this from other friends of mine, whether it's in UKI, the Nordics, DACH, there's a level of access to very large corporations, very large SaaS companies in Europe that you don't typically get when you're a small company growing up here in New York, right? Maybe it's just the number of people that there are, the difficulty in breaking through the bureaucracy, whatever it might be. So you've had that success with LinkedIn specifically. How do you then leverage that as you come across the pond here?
Yeah, you're right. It started with the European team at LinkedIn, and it started through the tech partnership. So to start with, we were not trying to sell with them because we like them, because everybody does. We had a product that was able to build in on the APIs that LinkedIn has to offer better services for the LinkedIn users. And I think that part gave us access to our partnership with LinkedIn to start with in Europe. And then our CTO went over and met them. Actually, the funny thing is, it has never been only a partnership initiative. It was a tech initiative. Our CTO was out at LinkedIn, meeting the product team, discussing what is coming out, what would be useful for us to build on, that their clients could benefit on, to see better performance on ads. They were building CAPI at that time. Like, okay, what if we did that too and offered the full customer journey length for CAPI as well, because they can only do top of funnel. And what if Dream Data was able to offer something more? And now we're building even more on top of that. And LinkedIn really likes it because it gives the LinkedIn reps a better possibility to help out their clients to understand that the LinkedIn ads are actually working. So I hear you that European part might sound easier. It could be it is, because there are so many SaaS companies in the US. We haven't tried it, so I don't know how hard that might be to get through. But everybody who will speak at LinkedIn, also at the New York office, they're in love with Dream Data. But I think also because of the personality of the company. We're not trying just to get stuff from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We're building back, we're building according to what their roadmap is as well, so we can have that close partnership together with them, rolling out and helping their clients as well.
One might say like an ecosystem.
Probably, yeah. Nice buzzword.
No, I love it, right? Coming out of the Salesforce ecosystem and us going through RevOps, I get it, right? How do you help your customer's customer do really well?
Exactly.
Right? Or how do you add additional functionality and capability that is complementary?
Exactly. It's really nice and sometimes surreal for us as a small company as Dream Data is, comparing to all the rest who are trying to get through to work together with LinkedIn and have that much love from their team, product team, from the marketing team and so on, doing events. It's surreal. It's so nice.
So what's the plan then? You guys are here. How do you go from where you are now to the next revenue milestone?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a big part of it. We are collaborating a lot with them, both on the product side, but also on the go-to-market, some of the pieces, and outbound. Outbound is going to be a big part. So now we're hiring AEs, hiring SDRs, and step by step, we're not diving head in. This is the lovely part of Dream Data as well. We've got the money, we could hire 10 people in the sales team and just dive in. But we have seen doing step by step in this current market is so much easier because we tested out the waters on, let's say, outbound, signal-based outbound. Okay, it works. Now we can hire 3 more people instead of hiring 10 at the very beginning and figuring out that it's actually not working. And the same will be done throughout the upcoming years.
It's a pragmatic approach.
It is, and in this market, I think it's just so healthy to do it like that. That's why I love the company. It's not head in and let's try grow there. Oh no, we failed. We do something else. It's very stable growth.
Stable, durable,
Love
methodical.
It. European, huh?
Oh man, make me go back home. No, I love that. Okay, so you're going through these steps and phases. What are the actionable things that you guys are doing? You're hiring, yes, but when you're going through and doing that outbound, Have you looked at something agentic to help you with that and scale that effort so that you can make the most out of the 3 headcount instead of going and getting 10? Or what are you guys thinking there?
So again, it goes back to our product team too. So our CTO, funny enough, is very involved in the outbound motions as well to help us with the automation pieces.
Okay.
When we hire people,
Not normal.
no, and it's very healthy.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because he cares about the growth. He knows what's happening in the sales team for the tech team to be involved and be building on the right things, but also on the process-wise. So he is making sure that we're on track on, let's say, we want to do signal-based outbound, what is working? And what type of signals do we want to receive and how for us to be able to scale that further? We use Apollo to do sequences as well out of that.
Okay.
We build out the sequences to help the new people as well to not just experiment their way out. It's very methodical of how do we see the growth coming as the next step as well. And if it fails, then we would move on to another test for outbound as well. But this is very technically well connected together as well.
So that's all feeding back into your product. You're drinking your own champagne.
And the cool thing about it is that since our CTO is building it, then he can see what's working. And then if we were to dip our toes into the sales teams, trying to sell and adjust our product to helping sales team a bit more as well, we know what works because we tried it out on ourselves.
Yeah, and now you have something that is tested and tried and viable from a next generation product.
Exactly. As our CRO Nick very often says, like, guys, you don't know what you've got there. It's just so good. We'll see. I've been here 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
4.5 years. It's, yeah.
That's
ages.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
SaaS.
yeah, that's a really long time in SaaS.
It is.
You gotta love the company so much to be there for 4
I
years.
do.
4.5. Holy moly.
I do, and that's what brought me here, because it's not normal in SaaS. And our tenure of salespeople is, I think, right now above 3 years. So Sander and I, we joined together. We're 4.5 years here in together. Alberto and Ines have joined after us as well. Have been here for, what is it now? Close to 3 years now. And all of the people who joined, they just don't leave because stuff is working, they're well paid, and the processes are working. And the people you work with are nice too. So it's like, what's not to like?
And that helps drive growth.
Absolutely.
Happy employees do better?
Yeah, exactly. How come?
It's a novel concept.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last part of the show is asking a question that the previous guest has asked.
All right.
So Will Allred was our guest just before this.
Hello, Will.
Yeah, love Will too. His question for you was, are there any preconceived notions or things that you are expecting to find in coming over to the US from a culture perspective, like leaving the Nordics, coming here, and obviously living in New York? Any preconceived notions that you're looking to test? And obviously you've brought your whole family too, so you can hit this both from a work perspective and a personal perspective.
Yeah, of course. So I somehow remotely working with the Americans. Now I'm generalizing the Americans because New York is a different. It's like, no, but when working with the Americans, I somehow hit it different than working with Europeans. I'm able to connect. Could be because of the social presence as well, because it's kind of normal in the US to have that type of presence. All the influencers are coming from here, and people like that. In Europe, it's a little bit more classical, so to say, like, who are you to tell me what you do and stuff like that. So in the US, what I like about the market itself, it's much more receptive to things like that, but they're also very straightforward, which means that if they need the product, they'll choose the best one right now. In Europe, it's usually, oh, let's figure this out, let's take another month, let's take one more month, and so on. The speed of the deal is new for me when working with the US, because our customer journey has shortened immensely when Nick has joined, because I think also mentally when I was selling to the US after selling to Europe as well, I was kind of mentally also prolonging it. Oh yeah, let's meet next week, let's catch up and check in and so on.
Not really pushing the urgency.
No, And here, it's so normal. One of the things that was very weird for me when selling to the US was setting up time-based incentives. If you're ready to go fast, you get 20% off and I get the deal fast. So you get the money and I get the deal fast. In Europe, something like, yeah, you're gonna do the same for me next month too. No, we have an agreement and Americans follow it. In Europe, it's a little bit tougher to get that going as well.
Yeah.
Still works, depends how you frame it. But we as a European sellers are also have a little bit of tough time adjusting to that.
It's interesting, right? So being Dutch, we're very direct,
Yeah.
right? But having grown up here and trying to sell into Europe at times, the pace blows my mind. Like the amount of collaboration and stakeholder buy-in that you have to get, even from like IC level, in order to get something done sometimes, for a $20,000 spend or a $30,000 spend blows my mind. Like, I'm so used to your point, the American market where, okay, we're gonna do it today, you get an inbound, can you talk today?
Yeah.
You call them, that right then and there, right? And if you can get something going by the end of the week, like, let's go.
Exactly. This was the first time when Nick joined, and I think it was Noah, my colleague in the US, he closed the fastest deal, where it was one meeting closure. It was unseen for us. Never have we seen it. Okay, so when are we checking in? I said, do you want to know the price? I said, no, the price is this. Okay, you ready? Let's go.
That was my first full-time day with Carabiner. Seamus, I'm shadowing him on this call. He's talking to a bank. From a cold LinkedIn outreach.
Oh my God.
1 hour call, 6-figure contract. And I had spent my entire interview process with him building out the FP&A for the company for the first year. And he's saying all these things and I just slashed all the numbers down by 75%, right? I'm like, no way. This can't be ACV. This can't be time to close. Let's inflate this a bit and give us the ability to learn and figure this out. And then he does that on my first full day. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit different.
So you learned that too. Yep, exactly. So this is what I love about the American market. But on the other hand, the brand loyalty is less.
For sure.
Europeans, if they buy it, it stays. Because, everybody bought into it. If we have to, unfortunately, when they cancel, they don't have to have buy-in for everybody to cancel, but it takes longer time. Americans, they do shop much more.
Yeah.
Which is normal. That's how it is.
From everything your personal life to work, right? We shop our homeowners insurance and our car insurance every year.
Exactly.
Right?
There you go. But I think the social brand also is something that keeps our customers close as well. Because besides your CS, you're still seeing your company being active, being nice, being a company I want to associate myself with.
Sure.
And of course, customer success and the product is the closest part that keeps them. By the way, 95% of our clients are using our product every single week. 95%. That's insane. And then when they see you as a social brand as well, they like to associate themselves with that company. Well, they cannot go wrong. And that shows on our NRR and all that.
That's
numbers.
great. Yeah, keep the growth going. Awesome. All right. So our next guest is Jess Pelly from Loyi. I know you guys recently met.
Yeah, we met last week.
So what's your question for Jess?
So for Jess, I would like to ask her, what does she expect from this year, 2025? What should it bring, both for her company, but also in general for B2B SaaS? If there's anything different that is going to happen than it has in the past couple of years.
Okay, fair enough. Laura Erdem, Sales Manager from Dream Data. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you.
Cliff, this was a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome.
You've been listening to SBI's Climb podcast with Cliff Simon hosting. Visit SBI Growth to read SBI's latest research, join upcoming events, or learn more about SBI's go-to-market services. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and connect with us on LinkedIn.